Tonight's reality check, the high cost of this year's hurricane season. Dauphin Island suffering punch after punch. 4 storms impacting the island so far this year.
NBC 15's Andrea Ramey tallies the blow to taxpayers.
Zeta pushed all of this sand up onto the road on Dauphin Island. It stretches for miles, and it will cost millions to clean up. Video and pictures taken as Zeta pummeled Dauphin Island shows the West End underwater.
We were on the back porch looking, and it was like we were in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico.
Several feet of sand blanketed roads in the storm's wake, cutting off roughly 500 homes. The cost to clean up?
Zeta, I think our damage assessment was around $6 million plus. That was primarily as the sand, moving of the sand.
That's not the only storm Dauphin Island has had to contend with this year. Mayor Jeff Collier says the small beach town also had to clean up after Sally, Laura, and Cristobal.
You're probably going to be looking at, I would say, $12 to $15 million collectively on the high side.
That's 3 times the town's annual budget. Collier says fortunately federal and state tax dollars paid for most of the cleanup after Sally. And he's hoping Zeta becomes a declared disaster too, which triggers federal aid. If that happens, Dauphin Island's burden would be much less, closer to $1.5 million. The unusually active storm season highlighting the vulnerable nature of the barrier island. 15 years ago, Hurricane Katrina cut the island in 2.
That's something that without engineering intervention could happen, but that's something also that we're working on to ensure that it doesn't happen.
Coastal engineer and USA assistant professor Dr. Stephanie Smolligan is working to protect the island from future storms, taking into account projected sea level rise.
Obviously, as sea levels rise, then the impact of those hurricanes can travel further on land, increase the flooding, and in turn increase the amount of erosion that we see on the island.
Another reason why the leader of this small community says big ticket projects are sorely needed to preserve Alabama's slice of paradise.
One of the things that we need to look to is some kind of a replenishment program for the West End, which we've been talking about for years, that would help mitigate the damages going forward.
As for these giant sand piles, the mayor says the sand will eventually be sifted and then pushed back to where it came from, the shoreline. Reporting on Dauphin Island, Andrea Ramey, NBC 15 News.